Senior Moments, sponsored by the Empowering Seniors Group on News Talk KVNU, 102 FM and 610 AM.
Good morning. Welcome to the Senior Moment Show. My name is Bruce Lee, and my co-host is Sid Roeder. Good morning, Sid.
Good morning, Bruce.
We're back again together for another wonderful show.
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are. And we have a great guest here. He's a member of our Empowering Seniors Group, which Sid is going to tell you about in just a second. We'd like to welcome James Stevens to the show. Welcome, James.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Glad to have you here. We'll introduce you a little bit more in just a second. But before we do that, Sid, why don't you tell us about the Empowering Seniors Group?
I would love to. The Empowering Seniors Group is a group of professionals that has dedicated their time and effort to provide information to seniors, their family member, and really anybody who cares. And as Bruce mentioned, James is a member of our group. If you would like to learn more about the Empowering Seniors Group, you can do so online at empoweringseniors.info, or you can email us at empoweringseniorscv@gmail.com, and the CV stands for Cache Valley. And lastly, if you have any suggestions for us, anyone you would like to see us invite to this show, you can reach me personally at 435-512-6406.
Thank you, Sid, and thanks to James and his group down to White Pine for being part of the group that helps us to put this show on, and we hope it serves the community well and gives people ideas on how to access services and things that are going on and what things are like. And that's kind of what this show is going to be like, because today we're going to talk about, I guess it's almost kind of a day in the life of what it's like to be a funeral director, is what we've talked about a little bit. But again, let's welcome James Stevens to the show. He's the funeral director for White Pine Funeral Homes. So before we kind of jump into those things, James, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got involved here?
First of all, again, thank you for having me, and it's an honor to be a part of Empowering Seniors. We love the organization and what it stands for and what it does for the community. I love being a funeral director. It's a tremendous passion of mine, and it's easy to go to work every day because I truly am fulfilled, and it brings me a lot of joy just helping people out. I often describe it as just that. What do I do for a job? I serve people. I help people, and during a difficult time in their life. I kind of happened across it accidentally. I ended up moving into a funeral home because it was free to live there with my new bride, and came to love it, and decided that's what I wanted to do with my life. So here I am. Long story short.
That's a really cool story. So your wife was okay with moving into a funeral home? I just have to ask.
She was a little hesitant, but it was nicer than where we were living. And it cost a whole lot less. It just cost me time and effort.
That's always a factor when you're first married. And plus, it's true love, because when you say, honey, I found a place.
Yeah.
Where is it? Well.
Exactly. But no, I'm super grateful that opportunity presented itself and has led to where I am now. So
that's great. So, before we got on the air today, we were talking a little bit about some of the things we wanted to discuss. And you mentioned, maybe how people handle dealing with a funeral, and maybe who should participate.
Sure.
Is that what we want to talk about? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I guess in a nutshell, we were just kind of talking about why funerals are important, why one should have a funeral. More and more, it's becoming popular for people to just kind of want to do it on their own and not involve the professionals as much as historically has taken place. We don't necessarily discourage people from doing that, but we try to help people understand on a regular basis that the funeral is tremendously important. And if you go out and read any studies that have taken place, first and foremost, everybody grieves when you lose somebody. I don't care how expected it was. I don't care if they're 105. I don't care what your relationship to them was. You're going to grieve their loss if they're your family. It might be far more severe in some cases, and the grief might be more minimal in others. But regardless of who you are, your relationship, whether or not it was expected, the funeral, the ceremony or the ritual aspect of it is very, very important for you to be able to grieve properly. And so we're not sitting here as a funeral home trying to make extra money off of you when you tell me we don't really want to do a funeral. We're trying to tell you as funeral professionals what you really need, because we know, we've been to school, we've studied it, we're experienced in this field, and we know that when people have a funeral, they always come back and express how grateful they are that they did, and the positive experience that it was, the things they learned about their loved one. All of those things are very, very important. And so we're always trying to educate people and help them understand why it's important.
So we've talked a little bit too about some cultural differences before we stepped into the radio show, and so I'm a little bit curious on how do you advise people about what kind of ceremony? I mean, if it's the local Cache Valley person, what kind of ceremony do you advise then, or how flexible are you to incorporate maybe cultural things into that?
Wonderful question. So we're super flexible, and it's not that it matters how you do it or what type of service. It's just important that you do it, whether that's a memorial service with an urn present after they've been cremated, or a viewing followed by chapel service. Even if I can't get someone to see the importance of doing that, I'm going to go out of my way to help them understand that they at least need to get together as family around the dinner table or the fire pit. I don't care if it's informal. Get together and reminisce and share some memories and talk about them and cry together and laugh together, and you got to do something. So it really isn't about what you do or how you do it, just doing something. And culturally, yes, it is different. Some cultures are far more hands-on. America tends to be far more hands-off than almost any other culture out there. But it is very, very important that you get involved, that you do something, and that you dedicate some time and effort into it.
Yeah, I can understand that about the grieving process. So maybe for our listeners today too, if you do have questions and would like to get in touch with James, maybe before we step out on our first break, you wouldn't mind mentioning the telephone number and the location if someone's interested in sitting down with you.
Sure. We're just on First East. It's 753 South. They're at the south end of Logan, right where Providence and River Heights and Logan all meet. My phone number, my cell phone number is 435-265-6899. More than happy to take a call, answer any questions. We're here for visitors that just walk in and want to see the place or have any questions.
Thank you, James. This is the Senior Moments Show. We're going to take a little break here, but stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is James Stevens with White Pine Funeral Services. At White Pine, we value compassion, integrity, and service. We are committed to serving you and treating your family as our family. We will be here when you need us most, to listen, to help, and to provide exactly what your circumstances require. At White Pine, we promise to dedicate our time and attention to you and your family. We invite you to come by and meet us. We're confident you'll feel a difference.
If you're retired or plan to retire soon, will you outlive your money or will your money outlive you? If you don't know the answer, I can help. Hi, I'm Patty Bartholomew, a financial consultant with Parsonex Securities. If you have questions about your financial plan or just need a second opinion, call me today at 435-227-5556.
Investments are not FDIC insured, nor are they deposits of or guaranteed by a bank or any other entity, so they may lose value. Investors should carefully consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the funds. This and other important information is contained in each fund's prospectus and summary prospectus, which can be obtained from a financial professional and should be read carefully before investing. Securities offered through Parsonex Securities, Inc., member FINRA, SIPC, 8310 South Valley Highway, Suite 110, Inglewood, Colorado, 80112-303-662-8700.
Oh, it seems like yesterday I was playing with my kids on the playground.
Seems like yesterday I was building a treehouse in the backyard.
Time goes by too fast, but there is something you can do to ensure you're taken care of down the road. I'm Tracy Ferris with Quality First Insurance. A long-term care insurance policy is something we all need as we get older. If you wait until you need it, you're too late. Let me help you understand the options and benefits of long-term care insurance. Call me today, 435-752-0101.
Reed's Pharmacy in Hiram offers free delivery service 5 days a week, Monday through Friday throughout the valley. just stay home and they will deliver to you. With 25 different suppliers, they won't have the shortage that others might have. Also, with compounding and many other services, they will be able to serve all your needs. In order to stay safe and help slow the spread, please call Reed's Pharmacy in Hiram at 245-DRUG, and they will take care of you.
This is Brian Erickson for the Sunshine Minute. Each day, our nurses, CNAs, cooks and servers, housekeepers, laundry staff, music, recreation therapy teams, office staff, receptionists, and many more arrive around the clock. These heroes show up ready and willing to serve and protect our residents and clients. We are so grateful to our dedicated team. On behalf of the Board of Sunshine Terrace Foundation and our community, thank you to all of our employees for keeping us safe. We bring more to life together.
Welcome back to the Senior Moment Show. If you're just joining us today, we're here with James Stevens. He's the funeral director for White Pine Funeral Home on the south end of Logan. And we've been talking about, I guess it's kind of some, I'm not saying it's the shoulds and shouldn'ts of funerals, but maybe just some cultural stuff, what happens around a death in a family and what happens to people as they start making decisions on what they want to do. What their opportunities are when they're dealing with something like this, which usually comes in a surprise. And you mentioned that there's a trend out there, or at least there's lots of options. You know, you can do a funeral, you don't have to do a funeral, but there's some reasons to do a funeral, and probably to help people through the grieving process. I'm just curious, as you've worked with different people, what impacts do you see with those who maybe have chosen not to do this that might not be positive, or that they might struggle with, or causes them to extend the grieving process?
A great question. I, on occasion, have had families come back to me and say, we wish we had done more. We wish we had done something. But especially taking the opportunity to see their loved one when they've passed away. And most people take advantage of that opportunity. I mean, we don't charge anything to take some time out of our day to prepare their loved one, even minimally, clean them up, brush their hair, make them look nice, keep them covered and dignified, put a nice homemade quilt on them, and put them in a room for their family to come in and see them. There's no charge for that. Everybody has that right and should take advantage of that opportunity, in my opinion, because seeing your loved one when they're dead makes it a reality. And in my opinion, unlocks something in your brain, helps you grieve in a healthy way. And I can't think of a single time where I had somebody do just that and come back to me and say, I wish I hadn't done that. That just doesn't happen, because that's the normal, healthy thing to do. Now, I understand some people are going to come to me and say, I don't want that. And we will most definitely be respectful of that opinion. But everyone appreciates having done it when they do it. And it's not always easy. Don't get me wrong. That's not an easy thing to do, but it's a very healthy thing to do for sure.
So do you ever see maybe a different dealing with what time to see someone dead? Because, I mean, we've talked, I've got a different cultural background, so I agree with the seeing someone dead thing, but to me, when death happens, the quicker the seeing it can happen, mm-hmm. and not waiting, until the embalmment or something happened, mm-hmm. is totally different to me than... Sure. So do you feel that there is maybe also a difference in the times that people feel okay about seeing the dead
Sure.
body?
I think the sooner it can happen, the better in most situations. So, for example, we received somebody into our care last night. Their family's coming in today at 1, and we will offer them that opportunity for those that weren't there last night when their mom or grandma passed away. They can have that opportunity today. I think that it is helpful if they're not embalmed. The sooner it takes place, the better, for sure. If they are embalmed, it's probably not as vital because the embalming process preserves their body. We will rarely discourage somebody seeing their loved one. The only time that would ever take place is if there's some serious trauma. And even then, there are things we can do, oftentimes, not always, but some of the time, to make them viewable, to the point where even though there's a little trauma or a little something, which we will always prepare the family for, even though that might exist, it's still a positive experience for most families.
What have you seen with kids? Because that would seem to me to be kind of a sensitive topic. And as a parent, I'm thinking back when our kids were little, how I felt about that. And I'm uneasy with it myself. I don't think our culture really leads us to be comfortable with that. And we talked again off air that some other cultures are more comfortable with death and deal with it a little bit better. I'm not especially comfortable with it myself. And so that might lead me to not expose my kids. So what kinds of things do you see with those type of behaviors?
Great question. I think first and foremost, it's understand that everybody grieves, whether it's you, your parents, a child. And I'm very, very passionate about this topic. I appreciate you asking that. Children, I believe, and I would never mean to offend anybody that feels differently or feels like they need to protect their children, but I believe children are far stronger than we give them credit for, especially in the sense of dealing with death. Again, when I'm able to help parents see the value in doing it, and they've taken that opportunity and walked their kids in to see grandma or dad or whoever it might be, they never regret it. It's something that also helps children. Children grieve just like adults do. It's different, don't get me wrong, but everybody grieves. And they can handle it. They really can. And it will be healthy for them, and it will help them. If you try to tell your children that grandma's just sleeping, or we invent all these ways of saying grandma's dead without actually saying it, and in a way, it's kind of a lie. Not intentionally, but in a way we're circumventing the reality of the situation, and children are also going to grieve, and they're going to miss grandpa and wonder what happened. And if you're not completely honest with them, they may present questions that are going to be hard to answer when you didn't give them the opportunity in the first place.
So we're talking about all ages here, right up the scale from very young.
Sure.
That's sure. Kind of the question, right? I mean, how
old?
I
mean, I can think of families where there's tragic deaths. Dad passes away in a car accident. Daughter's 2 or 3 years old. If they're old enough to talk, they're going to ask questions. And if you haven't been honest with them, they're going to be really hard to answer. But I absolutely believe that those children, and I would never just walk them in the room and say, here's dad. Prepare them for what they're going to see, exactly what they're going to see. Talk to them about the situation beforehand. You want to very well prepare them for sure. But I absolutely believe that any children who are old enough to understand it on any level will benefit from that, and those that are too young, they're not going to care anyways, if that makes any sense.
I'm a little curious. We're up on our second break here in just a second, but do you open up that conversation with clients frequently, or is that something you only talk about with your clients when they come in and you realize they have small children?
Sometimes it's really hard if I can already sense that they do not want their children, but I feel like I'm doing a disservice as a funeral professional if I don't share what truly is in their best interest. And then tell them, again, though, you're the parents, you decide, I respect your decision.
Thank you so much, James. That makes sense. This is the Senior Moment Show. We're visiting today with James Stevens. He is the funeral director at White Pine Funeral Home in Logan. And we're going to take a little break, but we'll be back with more.
Whether you have a small business, large corporation, or sole proprietorship, remember Cook Martin Polson has provided quality accounting services since 1977. At Cook Martin Polson, they believe you've earned it, and they're going to help you keep it. Take a minute right now to call 750-5566. That's 750-5566 to set up your tax appointment and let Cook Martin Polson show you how to keep the money you have earned.
This is Jared Ripplinger with Cook Martin Polson. You've worked hard for your money. Let us help you keep it.
You have a lot of options when it comes to buying or selling a home. Do you list it online, sell it yourself, or do you have a realtor help? It's a major financial and emotional decision. A realtor is the liaison between buyers and sellers and really helps you navigate complex contracts, deadlines, and disclosures.
Hi, this is Sid Roeder with Achievement Realty. I work for you to get the best outcome for your situation. Let me earn your trust with a free consultation and a free market analysis. Call me today at 512-6406. Then list it, sell it, and move on.
This is Mark Thurston with White Pine Funeral Services. The best time to plan is when you have time to plan. Having a pre-arranged funeral gives peace of mind for everyone involved. White Pine will customize your final wishes to fit your needs, from a traditional burial to cremation to a custom headstone. White Pine also accepts pre-arranged plans from other mortuaries, and we will absorb any transfer or revocation fees. No penalty to you. Visit whitepinefunerals.com or come and see us for more information.
White Pine Funeral Services, here when you need us most.
Hi, this is Bruce with Comfort Care. One of the ways we help loved ones stay in their home is by assisting with daily tasks. These may include bathing, meal preparation, medication reminders, and housekeeping. We even help with shopping, transportation, and errands. Most of all, we offer a trusted level of care. Let us help you live your best life possible with Comfort Care. This is Bruce, and you can call me at 754-7676. Comfort Care, 754-7676.
When it comes to successful aging, eating well matters. Staying physically active matters. Getting socially engaged matters. Living alone, aging alone, it's harder to consistently do that. Hi, this is Chris Grohl with Pioneer Valley Lodge, where we make it easier to do those things every day. Our mission at Pioneer Valley Lodge in North Logan is to help seniors live better, age more gracefully, and stay independent for as long as possible. Pioneer Valley Lodge, an independent living community for seniors.
Welcome back to the Senior Moment Show. If you're just joining us today, we are talking with James Stevens, the funeral director for White Pine Funeral Home in the south end of Logan. And we've been talking about, funeral-related things and some interesting information about some things to do, what might be appropriate for families, how to handle a death in the family, working with a funeral director, working with a funeral home. Before we went to break, though, we did not get contact information. I wanted to just take a minute and do that again. So if you have questions about planning or need help that a funeral director might be able to offer, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
My cell number is 435-265-6899. You're welcome to call me anytime. Happy to answer any questions. And truly, people can just drop by the funeral home there on the south end. We're there from 9 to 4 every day at least, and we're happy to entertain anybody that just wants to walk in and ask questions, look around, see what's going on.
Thank you, James. Before we went into the break, we were talking about children a little bit and about their processes to grief, and that you encourage families to actually have their children incorporated in that grieving process, and also in seeing the deceased body. One question I have is, because you mentioned over the break that you have some resources that you can share with families. What do they look like?
Sure. So simply put, they're pages that kind of walk you through how different age ranges tend to deal with death and grief. So whether that's toddlers, what questions they might have, how they might respond, what feelings they might manifest, versus teenagers and anywhere in between. But we have those things available to anybody who would like to read them or see them, and we're more than happy to share that. It's a tremendously helpful thing, and what you can do as a parent to help your children understand how you can talk to them, etc. So
these are books that they can just come down and get, or is this stuff that's online?
I'd be happy to email it even. I mean, it's just they're just documents that we have. We can either print or email.
Actually, do you have an email address that people could send you an email?
Yeah, my email is just my first name, James. So james@whitepinefunerals.com.
So we've talked about all kinds of things. We've talked about ceremonies and different things. Is there anything you feel that we haven't touched on today that you'd like to share with our listeners?
I think I would just like to clarify that everything we're discussing to this point and what I've expressed as far as seeing the deceased is mostly directed at family members of the deceased. While it is popular and common for people to do an open casket viewing for the public, to me, that viewing or visitation is more for the benefit of the surviving family and for the friends and extended family to come and express their love and support, less about those individuals actually seeing the body. While there's, I believe, some value to that, I think seeing the deceased is of the utmost importance for the family, and they're the ones that will benefit most from that.
So that actually brings up a question, I guess, because in my mind, a traditional funeral seems to be, you have a viewing the day before, and then there's some event in the morning, and then the funeral's in the late morning or early afternoon. That seems to be kind of the flow. With what you just said, is those viewings tend to be everybody, right? I mean, lots of people there. Are you suggesting that close family should do something outside of that traditional viewing in addition to that might be beneficial to them, or is that enough? What? Sure.
I think oftentimes we encourage families, or at least give them the opportunity to have some private time with their loved one, and maybe that's on the afternoon of the day of the visitation or viewing. Like I do think it's important for family to take some private time where they're not worried about entertaining the public and talking to them. Absolutely, and we certainly offer that. And like I said, that's something anybody has the right to or the privilege to do, and there's no charge for that. They can schedule that any time during the workday.
So I'm just curious, when you get a funeral and a ceremony that is culturally different to what people are used to here in Cache Valley, do you feel like other people that are attending from the community feel a disconnect there when things are done differently than traditionally done in Cache Valley? I think sometimes it's surprising. For example, we did a service within the last month for a Mexican family, wonderful, wonderful people that came here over the last number of years, and the majority of their community from Guanajuato came up here and live in northern Utah and southern Idaho, and it was a massive gathering. And for the white Caucasian families that knew this decedent and came and expressed their love and support, it was definitely a different experience, but not unhealthy in any way. It's a little bit unique, but essentially the same idea, a visitation where they can come and express their love and support. And some cultures are going to come and ask us for a significant amount of more time, and we're okay with that. We want people to take as much time as they can with their loved one, and we'll be there to be as flexible as we need to give anybody that opportunity. Thank you so much, James. We're already coming up to the end of our show, so I do want to give you another chance to mention all your contact information and your location. Yeah, thank you. Again, my name is James Stevens, Funeral Director at White Pine. My cell phone number is 435-265-6899, and we're just on First East down at the south end of Logan. Please, we absolutely encourage anybody who has questions or concerns to call or just drop in. We're happy to help. Thank you for coming in, James. This is the Senior Moments Show. Visiting today with James Stevens. He's the Funeral Director at White Pine Funeral Home here in Logan. And I do want to mention our sponsor really quick, too. We are sponsored by the Empowering Seniors Group. If you'd like to learn more about them, you can do so online at empoweringseniors.info. Thank you so much for listening, and we hope you tune in again next week.